Yo, welcome back to another episode
Yes.
of the Wisdom Well podcast. I'm LJ.
I'm Larry.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
We had an interesting topic that we wanted to talk about.
We did.
We've been kind
We
of
want to first say we missed you guys. We missed you guys. Thank you for coming back in.
Welcome back.
We love you
Yes.
guys. We've been
Yes.
learning so much from y'all and
Yeah.
from these conversations.
Yeah.
So.
We are being educated. We're talking. We're discussing more than ever, and we wanted to talk about the state of the union.
Oh my gosh.
So, or actually the state of music. Like, where is
State of disunion.
Yeah, right. right.
Man.
I know a lot of artists that are out there that are really like, man, like, what the F do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I make a living? I heard Joe Budden say, no, everybody's broke and no one's making money and music is dead. And I wanted to get your thoughts. I mean, we talked a bit about it, but what are your thoughts on where music is right now? Like, is there hope for music? Is it dead? Is it, a broke man's game? Like where are you at with it right now?
And again, as I even step into this conversation, I know that there are so many individuals who are greater equipped to really talk about this than myself, and I yield the floor to them because they have been in it, and I'm in it too with them. We are in it with it.
We are in it.
But I think that there are levels to this thing, and I don't want to say anything other than there are levels to this thing.
But
I
also
do
share your opinion, your piece, like your view of what music looks like right now.
It's very sad right now. It's very frightening. But in the same time, it's also like, how it's like, it's very sad. It looks bleak, but also too, it's an opportunity. It's probably one of the greatest opportunity.
Yeah.
On the horizon, because things feel like they're up in the air. They feel like they're new. And basically the old way of doing things is dead and dying and on its last leg. And so, especially since the introduction of streaming and even, I think, some people would probably say even since the introduction of like with iTunes, from that point is when we started to go downhill.
Yeah.
And I believe that iTunes was a solution to a very bad problem of sort of, of ripping and like Napster. And I remember that realm. And
Napster.
You remember that? Remember that? Where it was just like, there was like computers, you were in your room. I remember LimeWire.
We was in there stealing, bro.
Jesus forgive me because I was caught up in the game.
Let me not forget. Please subscribe before I tell y'all some honest truth. But I was stealing so many records.
I think a part of wisdom is honesty.
Please subscribe.
Okay, a part of wisdom.
Then I was still
A part of wisdom is honesty.
Yeah,
okay, we got to be honest. Now, I definitely remember being on the floor and watching my students, because I had the privilege of I was a resident assistant over 100 years ago. It felt like 100 years. But I remember my students when it was first hitting, and I mean, they were downloading songs, full albums, movies before they were released. I'm saying it was.
And in all fairness, bro, when that joint dropped where you can get your favorite songs, and you just had to wait 3 hours.
I was making the mixtapes of life. Okay, call me DJ Mix-a-Lot. I had the mix. I had your mix for you. Okay, I had your mix for you. Okay, I didn't. It was like the Holy Spirit wasn't even like working in me to say, "Yo, this is thievery."
Right.
Okay? It was so new. It was so new that we didn't realize we were stealing
music.
We didn't realize yet.
Right.
We just thought, oh my gosh, this is great. The artist is getting played, right?
Yep.
But like again, that was before I was in this thing.
Right.
That man, that singers and songwriters, they are paid. Publishing and royalties, and there's a finance connected to it. So I think that the industry is looking really scary right now, especially with there have been a lot of layoffs. And to my knowledge at this point, there are like recording divisions that that manage the recording processes for these artists are being let go, and sort of radio promotions, and that's actually really interesting, because if those departments are being let go. Well, obviously, the recording makes a little sense because I mean the technology right now. You can go in your bathroom with your cell phone and create a full-on record that is at high quality.
And to that point, I have so many thoughts.
No, please.
To that point,
come on.
It really is. I don't ever want to cast a black cloud over the Spotify and the social media because there's artists that I've never would have ever heard of without the Spotify. Without the Apple Music, There's
without the TikToks.
Without the TikToks and the Instagram and things like that. And so one of the points that I wanted to make today was it's been easier to get to Texas, to Iowa, to get to Louisiana, to get to North Carolina from California. It's never been easier. Like my reach can go so far without the label. You know what I'm saying? So to have that through social media is a win for the artist. It's a different game. It's the win for like I don't have to get into my van with my, you know what I'm saying, with my records and try to get it to Indiana, or to get it to Chicago, to get it to, to North Carolina or wherever, I may be. I can truly just do it from my house
and put it out.
Yeah. And from my own. So, but what I will say though is, and I was talking to a few homies about this, I'm like, they're like prepping me for our episode here today. There's something about the old school way that still works, but the artists don't want to work it.
And I would unpack that, please, brother.
Man, like every artist, you're not going to be the Beyonce. You're not going to be the Taylor. You're not going to have it all. And the labels aren't giving you the advance and doing all the things for you.
Yeah, they're not managing those portions.
You're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to get the studio time. You're going to have to do all the things. You're going to have to put your own money up. You're going to have to create your fan base. You're going to have to do all these things. And then the sad part is we give it all to the label once we do all the work. Like that's the part that I see is sad. That I would have rather us do it the old school way, the Nipsey Hussle way, where he just sold out the trunk, and I call it the out the trunk method, where he just made his own records, got into the studio, like the beautiful studio we here in right now. Shouts out to LA Lounge Studios.
Come on.
Representing AJ today. Thank you for allowing us to have a home here. Being able to get into the studio, put your money up, record, package it, and then sell it yourself. And build your own fan base. And that takes work. That's the long route. That is the long, thankless route. But I believe like that's the most fulfilling. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I believe that we kind of were just sold a dream. And
because these labels be lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest.
Well,
these labels be lying.
We talked about that. We talked about it's like it's business.
It's business.
It's like the thing about it is like the record labels, and this is an interesting way to think about it. It's like the record label is breaking an artist from technically the old method was breaking them from scratch. This was before Instagram, before TikTok. They were breaking them from scratch. And if I might please educate us, please make sure that we have the right numbers. And that we're telling truthful information. It's like anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000. For one artist to break a single, I think. And it's like crazy, to really the momentum. So it's like if you're investing that much money, business says that you would want to make that back. Business says you would want to create a structure that would allow you to recoup.
Yes.
And I think that because the way that our industry has been going, or we're talking about music per se, you know, the way that it's been going, it's been so, people think that music is free. That's one of the ongoing conversations is that music is, the value of music is depreciating, or people just think that, like, when you have a Spotify, you're paying $9.99, you get everybody's music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or when you get Apple Music, $9.99, you get everybody's music. So is music free? But the thing about it is that the cost to create that music, the cost to be a musician, the cost to be a producer have skyrocketed because the fact that it takes so long. I think that even Money Long, who, shout out to her, I respect her tremendously. She's an incredible artist, an incredible writer. You know, she spoke very clearly about how she has been writing songs, and she's an songwriter. She's been in this thing, writing for many artists, and how it would be 2 years before she would even get paid 1 cent.
Wow.
You know, from the work that she had done. And so, and she was even saying, like, who works a job for 2 years
and not get paid?
Right. You know, like the level of like, but she also, an amazing, because she's an amazing person. She wants to educate people of what it really is. On the flip end, the costs of putting out a single, and it was like it's tens of thousands of dollars to release a single independent. Because so I think the thing about
it is, but I think that's the way, though.
I agree. I agree too.
I think still independent is the way to go to where you're going to feel most, because ownership, and I know Dame Dash talked about that, and several other people talked about that, Fat Joe and others talked about ownership, like owning your stuff. And I get it. 100% of nothing is nothing. I get that. But 100% of 100,000, you know what I'm saying, is a little bit of something. You know what I mean?
And I think it's all about the business structure. It's like what I think you should own yourself until it becomes profitable for you to access another level. Then you make business decisions around that. And I think that's the world we're living in right now, where if you amass a following on TikTok and you amass a following on Instagram, and we talked about that even last episode. If you amass this following and you are really good at feeding your community and they trust you and you build it, that then becomes and you also you're not just building. This is the other key I really want to say. You're not just building this community just so you can access and make money off of them. That's not it. That is trash.
That's the lowest level.
That's the lowest level. You care for your community and that you are building, and you love them, and you actually give them, you know, you listen to them. You're gifting, you know, and in return they purchase you and they pour into you their resource, you know, and when it becomes, you know, reasonable to do so, or you believe that it's great, then you play with those larger audiences so you can access greater, right? Because the thing about it is that I think with the record labels, the reason why people really want them and they do want to go to them is they do have all the contacts.
They got all the contacts.
They make phone calls and things happen. They tap it really easy. But I think saying,
and you said it easy.
Yeah,
you said it easy, right? Like sometimes it's not easy. Like it's not,
we're talking about like. Scores of years, and over 100 years of a system.
But they own you. Yeah, they own you when you go that route, right? Yeah. And I'm not trying to bash the labels. I kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of a little bit, but like
I think we're just being honest that it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest situation. Like there, I guess back in the day, there was not another option.
Yeah.
And also before the 360 deals, and why did 360 deals come into place? Yeah, because the lack of CD sales, the lack of sales in the physical product. So therefore, then now we got to get your merch to try to recoup. Right. You know, and the systems are set up to
only
recoup.
Making money doing touring.
Yeah, but I want a piece of that now too. Yes. When you book a show, when you book a TV show, when you book a podcast, when you book, you know, or when you're a special guest on these things, because of where streaming, you know, and the numbers are going, it's like there's not much revenue that's being created.
But then Spotify just hit like $1 billion, like something like $1 billion, something kind of crazy number.
Yeah. Well, I believe Kanye West was talking about this as well.
So so music isn't dead if people are getting paid. That's the way I see it.
Boom. And I don't think music is dead. I think that and
I don't think people are broke either. You know, like I think
so you and I think people are broke in relation to what we think they should be at.
Got you. Okay.
We come from the we come from the generation that had like $1 million. Don't tell you as you 15, right? But I come from that where the video was like $1 million.
It's right, right.
And I remember the video was $1 million,
and the musician paid for their house.
Yeah.
You know, like literally, that. I'm remembering those times where the musician made the $1 million, like the drummer made.
So in relation to that, it's like that's what we're thinking. Oh no, you live in like this person. You pop in Cristal. You got houses on every coast. You got a house in the south of France. You are living that like you higher echelon. You know, and the thing about it is, I think in most artists, that is not their reality.
Yeah.
You know?
I do want to encourage people who may be listening and please chime in. Please respond to us. Please, you know, get into the comments and let us know your thoughts.
We need to hear from you.
I definitely want to encourage you guys to diversify yourself. I think that is important. I think getting into other things that's just not music.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard someone say that this comedian, I forget his name, pretty popular guy, and he said his lawyer told him you for sure need at least 4 to 5 streams of income.
Wow.
Because when one dries up, another one will open.
Isn't it? That's so interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No. You good. This your show.
I was gonna give an example because I remember that artist, the rapper E40.
E40. Okay.
And now I believe that right
Smart
now he has like a ton of McDonald's. He has that are his franchise. He owns locations.
And I think, and you know, I'm sure we'll get into this as well as we go further down in the episodes. That's a cultural thing too. Like we've been sold a dream a little bit where it's like, you know, you're gonna make a living off music, and you know we're gonna make sure you're and not quite, you know, and not quite. And we've been sold a dream, and we gave up all of our ownership to our babies, you know, like we didn't keep, you know, the lion's share of the profits, and we gave our babies away, you know, and then we're begging for it back because we didn't know any better.
And I think even Dame Dash talks about, I mean, because you're so right on, because he's been a proponent.
He's huge on the ownership thing.
Own your thing. And yet he's had like a few artists. I believe Wiz Khalifa was one of them, and so just he was really just giving them information to really have them understand the concept of own yourself. Really don't. It's harder for sure, but if you can hold out and not do the label, then as long as possible, if not at all, then it will set you up better. And he talks about it, and there's no love lost between him and some of the artists that he's worked with, how they kind of were swooped in with that money. And you know, let's just be really honest. Let's talk about it. Like, let's see the African American urban acts. Sometimes they may come from a place of like, yo, this is gonna help my family.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. So it's almost, I'm like looking. I'm like, you looking at a check for 6-figure plus.
Yes,
or a million or where. I mean, it could be whatever that number is,
because you're trying to get out the hole. You're trying to get out of the situation, and you see
that as an opportunity. Yes, and the record label again is doing business. They see your value.
Yeah.
They see your value.
Yeah,
and they see your potential according to whatever number. And if you agree with that, but sometimes you don't understand that. That is a loan. That's not a. That's not like oh no, we giving this money. That's what it is.
And I know this has already been said very many times, but guys, that is a loan. You have to pay that back.
Recoup. That's why the word recoup.
They got to get that money back one way or the other.
And they're a business, and they should.
Yeah.
And if we sign on the dotted line,
wow,
that's doing business. You know,
Drake has a line. I don't listen to Drake much, but he has a line that I love to death. He says. Now I can't think of the line. Now I can't think of the line. Okay. He said you knew what it was when you signed up. You know what I'm saying? Like you knew what it was when you signed. I love that line. I use it all the time.
The crazy thing is that some of us, oh man.
Do you think we don't know? You don't think
I think that the information flows freely in certain circles. And some of those circles there are gates on some of those circles. But once you are able to pass through that gate, the information, it flows very, very easily. And again, the record industry is an industry, and it's important for us to learn. And I think podcasts like this, we are seeking information,
yes,
so that we are better educated, so that if we want to do business in that way, then we know what we're doing. You know, because if you have amassed yourself, if you have this community that is of raving fans that love you, that trust you to create good music, and that's what you do, or good products, period. And I hate to say the words products, but that's it is creative ventures that are dope. And you know your potential is greater, but you lack the access to certain levels, and you see higher for yourself, then it becomes a navigation. And I remember talking to an amazing lawyer that I respect, and I was, going to sign a contract, and that lawyer was just very adamant about me understanding, what I was sacrificing, hey, why?
Man,
he was asking why.
That's what's up,
and
though.
pushback and saying why? Well, why? And then when it was my decision to sign that contract, and he was like, hey, well, you better make sure that when you run through that door, you better run through that door and grab every bit of information that you need, and in relation to build relationship.
That's special, bro. That he took the time to do that
grateful,
for you.
Really grateful for him.
Wow,
grateful for him. James Walker, shout out to that man.
Wow,
incredible lawyer, and just a great family friend, and I appreciate him greatly. He's a very smart businessman as well.
Let's play a little game here. I'm a new artist. My vocals is tight. Like my vocals is so good. I can sing. Yep. My mama said I could sing, and everybody know I can sing. How would you?
And I know you can sing. You can sing in real life.
No, I'm not. I
don't heard you.
I know.
I heard you behind them drums. No. I mean, constantly getting a microphone for this dude.
My vocals is tight, right?
Yes.
How would you break me as an artist? What would you do first?
Oh my goodness! Do you have what's your situation? You just are an amazing talent, and I see your talent.
I mean, look at me. Like I'm ready to sing. I'm ready to sing. My mama said I could sing. I can sing. Man. I'm a new artist. Break me. I got 3 songs. How would you?
Oh, you got 3 songs.
Yeah.
Okay, so
how would you break me? How would you break me right now?
So I feel like, okay, so again, finite knowledge, and I'm welcome, because there are many ways to skin a cat.
Yes.
But I think my first thing probably,
and I want to hear other people's ways,
would be like, what are we doing with these 3 songs? Amazing, we got 3 songs. Okay. Do we have a strategy around these 3 songs? Are these 3 songs good? Okay, and then maybe even thinking about how, and now because this is the land that we live in, how are we, like, because are we using TikTok? What's our strategy? Are we using Instagram? Are we on Facebook? Like, I know my thought is to push to build a small community ourselves.
Okay.
Like your own fan base. Like, let's start to build that. Like, let's do a local show. Let's build a local movement around you. Let's build that, because that's important. And those little bitty things, you're not gonna get hurt. And I know people talk about this. An email list.
Right.
Email list. Like, I know that's like, people don't check email like that anymore. But crazy. That email list be like, that email list be gold.
Yeah, right.
And so I feel like those are the things, these are the smaller things, so your business, what you're doing.
Wow.
And so you're building, and you're understanding, and you're releasing. Do we have a system to continue to get new music? Do we have a pipeline? Because the thing about it is, like, that's the thing that we really need. I feel like a pipeline. So do you have a small group of team? Like, do you have a band, or do you have like a producer that you work with that you just churning out music, getting new? Cause you got 3, well then let's build a system around you that you're creating music. Okay. I'd also kind of probably want to figure out, like, I know this is now we're talking about management, right?
Yeah, I mean
which
everything you've said out in this playing this game,
and that's
with
my
you.
thought. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody
no,
else
no,
probably
no.
has something
No,
greater.
but I'm saying,
but
like,
I think, and this is to me because I've always felt like build a movement yourself.
because I'm telling you, people think just like what I just put out for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they think I got 3 songs, I'm ready to take over the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
We got to get AJ to do the production. We got to get someone to do the mixing. We got to get, and there's no strategy. It's just I got these songs and I wanna release music and that's part of it.
Yeah.
But there's no strategy to it. And I love that you said, okay, what are we doing here? What are we and I did that game to let our viewers and our audience know, like, who are artists, who are trying to become artists, who want to sing, and you got your 3 songs, and your mama said you can sing. There's a strategy that goes to be behind that also to get you to your auntie's cookout. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
true.
there's things that go behind putting on a production or getting to a level and to produce a product. You know what I'm saying? So
and also too, we have a mutual friend. Who we love and who
we're going to have here on this
on this show.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I remember during the pandemic, he was very encouraging of me to continue to learn the tech. Learn Logic, learn how to work that system, learn how to create yourself, learn that instrument yourself, learn how to
already know who you're talking
yourself.
About, and I can't wait to have him.
I'm telling you.
But he had another quote, and I just remember this through a buddy of mine said this as well, who we're probably going to have on here too. He said, either you can take time or pay money.
Woo! And let me tell you, and we had time during the pandemic, and like I don't want to go back to the devastation of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful, and I wish I had used that time even more effectively.
Yes.
I felt like I used it pretty well, but I feel like obviously there's greater levels to this thing, and so I feel like that if you can grasp that right now, and I think of the other thing I was going to say, what's the system that you have in place to fund your own stuff?
Wow.
Because the thing that's another thing.
Yes.
It's like you've got to even if it's like a part-time job working the desk at the Holiday Inn.
It's the hustle.
Or the or the Marriott. Or it's at the Gap or wherever. It's like you figure out your budget to be self-sustaining.
And that is okay. There's no embarrassment in that.
There's no embarrassment in that. And it's like, or working on or figuring out your schedule so that you can do it. And I know that, and for some people, like, they have the luxury of living with their family, they have the luxury of that, but some of us don't have that luxury. We need to still pay our rent or our mortgage or whatever,
and we gotta hustle.
And so you got to figure it out and then try to maximize your time where you are, and then to fund your own art, and become a business. Here's the other thing.
Go ahead.
Set yourself up as a business. So some of these costs. These costs are tax deductible. That's the other thing. So you become a business versus you just doing a hobby, And then like if you buy a laptop and it's your business and you are a musician, that's your business then. And you talk to him. I am not a tax professional, but I have a tax professional. We have tax professionals. And there are people who they are very well skilled. And hey, and if you are a tax professional and you deal with this, put your situation in the comments.
In the comments and hit us. So that we would love to have you on.
Legit people, please. Legit people, okay?
Please don't send your grandma. Your grandma.
Don't send Cousin Pookie.
Grandma's tax agent.
Know a thing or two. A legit tax service, so that you can understand the process. Because when you purchase things, and I think that even there's some seasons where you purchase your dry cleaning for your clothes that you're wearing for your show. You're purchasing things, your computer, the programs that you use to create your music, your music instruments. those things become the tax write-off. So, so I think that there are a lot of ways to do it, but if you have to be thinking that way, and I think that again, we talk about like gatekeeping, and sometimes music information flows very freely in certain circles, and it's just getting to those circles or getting connected to people who are in those circles, and I think the other thing is mentoring. Mentoring is very important. And I do understand. And also, too, here's the other thing: you are gonna make mistakes.
Sure, it comes with it,
and you might make some really horrible mistakes.
Yeah, it comes with it.
But it's my heart that and here's where like faith comes in. Is where you've got to know without a shadow of a doubt that there is something inside of you that's greater that is pulling you to this thing. Because I'm telling you, just if you're just doing this for the joy, I'm just joyful. This is going to be joyful. Prepare for some days to be a massive level of punching you're gonna endure. Punching down. You made like 70 steps up, and then somebody's like,
right.
And there will be moments of where you feel like a failure, but it's your faith is your faith that's gonna pull you through. It's your family, and when I say family, that's greater than just mom and dad. It's the family, and being in LA, it's the family that you choose, because you and I, you're my brother, and you can't tell me no different. You know what I'm saying? It's a friendship, it's a brotherhood that I've been able to be grateful that I've had. And so the people like that will pull you up, let you know what your talent and your gift is, and keep you going. And also, they dream higher, they're smarter than you. Get around some smarter people, and then also don't be afraid to just ask questions, and also too, don't be afraid to serve people. Because sometimes it's like that's how you learn your greatest thing,
and that's how you grow.
And it's like I'm 44 and I'm still like I'm in a space right now where I'm grateful to be able to even lock arms with a gentleman who knows tech like no other. This guy is sick.
Wow.
He's amazing, and he like I say, he's a part of the faith space.
Nice.
But to be able to just like have a bi-weekly meeting with this gentleman and just sit in and just say, what do you know that I need to be knowing? You know what I'm saying? Or how do I need to learn? And to like literally shut up and just let him talk about what, and to be a sponge, like if 44 years old is a massive thing. And so there are people like, if you're, 16 or whatever age you are, and you are just stay hungry in that sense, but I would say build your community, and I remember back when like YouTube like kind of first started. I mean, like I'm old, y'all. I'm 175. Don't let this fool you, okay? There's some white hairs under here, bro.
AJ, zoom in.
Don't zoom too close.
AJ, our producer.
You'll be like, what is this? I'm telling you, black don't crack. No, so, but it's like I remember when YouTube was kind of starting, and it was just like, man, you just would just. Can you imagine like people that had like 500,000, subscribers, and they literally would release a song, and then you would just and 10,000 people would pay 99 cents for their song.
Look, exactly.
Could you imagine if they released a song once a month? $10,000 because they honored their people.
Yep.
That's crazy. And then you get to do your art. And because you are being real and being honest with it, and you're creating for those people, you're not. And I think the thing about it is that you obviously, if you have a mission and God is telling you to create for the world, please. By all means, but also too, it's okay if you're creating for 100 people.
That's totally fine.
And then you like literally just know those 100 people, and that you listen to those people, you get feedback, and you just constantly just growing that number. And there are people who they may not be names that we probably don't even know their names.
There's people,
but they are living. Because we're talking about artists being broke or things like that. I think that I have seen situations where you have people where they are making six figures, we don't even know their name because they got a band and they are touring and they are going to places, and they figured out they're people.
Yes.
And they're just slow, and they are not worried about nobody. Some of them are not worried about nobody's record label.
Right.
Some of them are not worried about radio. Nope. Some of them are not worried. They're like, yo, I'm cool about the process. Mm-hmm. And then you know what happens is like they grow, and all of a sudden those are the people who get into rooms with record labels, and they are now negotiating because they've come to the point that we were talking about a little earlier, where it's now become a business decision to partner with a label versus be owned by the label. And it's so crazy, and I've made a ton of mistakes, as well as, but I think some of the mistakes that I think I've learned. I think some of the mistakes that I've made have actually protected me from dare I say, like ownership, being owned, you know?
Wow.
But the reality of the matter is that it's like, listen, it's business. Mm-hmm. And by the way, like amazing, I've always worked with amazing people. Mm-hmm.
And guess what? You get to create your own business also.
Yeah.
You get to be in control of
have I lost some friends along the way? Yeah.
That's okay. And that's all right.
Have I made some terrible mistakes and some people who I feel like, oh man, I really miss you, and I really wish that things could have been different. Yeah. And but I've had to give it to the Lord and to ask the Lord, okay, barring and giving the mistakes that I've made and the lessons that I've learned and the victories that I've had, what's next? You know, and that's my personal journey. I don't wish that on people. Mm-hmm. And that's again one of the reasons why we even started the Wisdom Well, because maybe if the wisdom of one person could be helpful, and again, still learning and still wanting to grow.
This has been a beautiful episode. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I just want to encourage everybody, man. Please don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your passion and the thing that you feel is important to you. Music is not dead, you know.
No, it's not dead.
The business is definitely not dead.
Yeah.
But it may look different. It may take a different journey. Yeah. And I know we went the long way around just vibing here today on our show, on our Wisdom Well podcast. But don't forget like God got you, and there's a reason why you can't sleep at night with that dream inside you. You know, there's a reason why like you can't stop singing that song or singing, and you know, like it's for you to do. So just go do it. And you're gonna go through some things, but you'll get through it on the other end. Yeah. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please like.
Yeah.
This has been a great journey, a great thing to do with my boy Larry.
Yeah.
Man, this is so special. And we'll be back. I'm LJ.
I'm Larry.
This is the Wisdom Well podcast. Want to say one more special shout out to AJ here at the LA Lounge Studios.
Yes.
We want to somehow figure out how to do a link to him and call him for things. But this has been a great episode, brother.
Fantastic, bro.
Love you, man.
Love you back, bro. Thank you so much. We love y'all.
See you soon.